What's going on, everybody? Super excited to be with you guys for one more Hedera stream. We have a packed house today. Actually, I got to get Maui up here. He was having a little bit of issues with his camera. Nevertheless, definitely want to hear him. But yeah, full house. We have Ed Marcus, Mei Chen, Mark Rise, Maui from Wild Tigers, as well as Ray Yamartino. Now, I'm not going to do you guys justice, so let's quickly go around this room, make sure that we get quick intros for everybody, so everybody that's watching us in, I think, 1, 2, 3, 6 or 7 platforms can get to know who you guys are and what y'all are up to. And this is a weird little layout, so I'm going to go ahead and try to get more people in here so it looks right. Here we go. That is a whole lot better. All right. Hey, May, why don't you kick us off?
Yeah, I'm the CEO, co-founder of HashPack, the leading wallet on Hedera. We allow you to do everything on Hedera, including take part in these great creators' content. And yeah, thanks. It's still early.
Well, good morning. Mark, let me go over to you.
Hey everyone, I'm Mark Rice. I'm founder of JustPFP Art. A lot of people see me as an artist, but I feel like a person who use art as a bridge between intuition and the things that I create. I just love to draw what I feel. That led me to collaboration with big global brands such as Adobe, Viber, Epson, and a lot of personal projects. And at a certain point, crypto guys started to reach out to me for NFT collections. So I was in crypto world pretty early, Ethereum, Solana, and finally Hedera. So all those previous crypto experience gave me clear differences between those ecosystem in Hedera. Hedera is something special with special people. So I decided to stay there. This is my home, and my next logical step was to create my own collection, JustPFP Art. Rest is history.
Awesome. Talk about special people. Ed, let's give everybody a little intro here.
Hey, Action, and hey, everyone. Ed Marcus here. I lead the developer relations function for Hedera at Hashgraph. And just as a reminder for everyone, Hashgraph is that entity in the Hedera ecosystem driving significant initiatives when it comes to engineering, to marketing for the network. And when it comes to developer relations, that is a function that is focused on attracting developers, educating developers, and also helping make sure that they have a smooth experience, whether it's getting started and also staying on the network. And I've been with the ecosystem for about a little over 4 years officially, and a little more if you count my time as a community member. So I'm super excited to be hearing from community builders, community projects of this caliber today, and looking forward to hearing more from these folks.
I love it. Attractive developers. I love to hear it. Ray, hopefully y'all caught, he didn't catch that. It's okay.
Yeah, no. I'm Ray Yamartino. Sorry, go ahead. What was that?
No, I was just saying over to you. Just a little bit of a delay.
Okay.
I apologize about that.
No, I'm sorry. It's probably on my end. I'm Ray Yamartino. I'm the co-founder of the Dead Pixels Ghost Club on Hedera, and we're one of the primary PFP NFT projects here, and just really looking forward to today's discussion.
I love it. And last but not least, Maui, let me bring you over here as well so we can at least hear from you.
Hey, what's up? You guys can hear me good. I was having the technical issues. I tried the camera, but it says connecting. I'm sorry about that. I am Maui, founder of Wild Tigers Tippy Bar on Hedera. Been a community member since 2019. I started building here in 2020. We run Hedera onboarding spaces, community spaces, and just spread awareness about the retail community over here on Hedera.
Beautiful. Now, this stream is all about exploring what's actually going on in this ecosystem, everything that Hedera has to offer. So let me kick it off with you, Ed. How would you describe the current state of where we find ourselves today when it comes to the, let's call it the community ecosystem and all the things that are being built on Hedera?
Well, if I had to use one word, I would probably go with exciting. And to appreciate that, I want to perhaps go back a little bit through time, because it hasn't always been that way, right? Like a very long time ago, it was a small community, very small set of players, small set of builders, very limited tooling. Like if you think about the smart contract capabilities on Hedera. They've always been there, but very limited back then, very limited in terms of tooling. I think HashPack has also done groundbreaking work, because back then we barely had a wallet connector. It was really hard to try and sign a transaction through your dApp early on. And I'm talking like, 3, 4, 5 years ago. And so it's amazing to reflect and see how far along we've come as a network and as a community and as an ecosystem, because today we've seen impressive growth on social channels. So I remember Reddit back in those days, it was about 10,000 followers. We're almost at 90,000 people. So that's a 9x through that time frame. Also on X, I remember we were around like 80,000 followers. Now we're close to 500,000 followers on X. So that awareness is getting out there, right? And I also see that with the activity on all those channels. And of course, there's, as Maui mentioned, a lot happening when it comes to those community calls, community spaces that are driven by projects, driven by these, groups and DAOs in the ecosystem. And of course, we try to do our part as well with HashGraph, where we have about 4 or 5 community calls that we do every month. And then, I can also get into the area of hackathons, which I think from my perspective are essential, that we're doing those to give developers an opportunity to test the technology, to test the network, start building on the network, and hopefully stay in the ecosystem as well. And then if we think about the alignment of what we see in the ecosystem with market trends, with key verticals, I'm super excited about what we're seeing from the community and from use cases in AI and tokenization, DeFi, and sustainability. I can go, deeper into each one of those, but I'm giving the 10,000-foot view of the ecosystem. And then one last thing that I do want to highlight is, if you think about it, 4 years ago, we were launching a foundation that was, experimenting or learning the right way to do things. And today we're at a place where the foundation has tremendous maturity and tremendous power for execution. So, the feedback that I'm hearing from the foundation as of this year is that they're doing a fantastic job supporting new builders, supporting new integrations for developers, and also those integrations that are going to support enterprises as well. And the last thing that I'll mention too is Hyro, right? Like, if you remember back in those days, we got a lot of criticism and a lot of heat for providing that guarantee that there was not going to be forking of the network. Some of it had to do with governance. Some of it had to do with the IP around, that amazing HashGraph consensus algorithm. And back in 2022, we open sourced all of that, but we went above and beyond, right? We donated the entire code base, or Hedera donated the entire code base to the Linux Foundation, Decentralized Trust, where the whole code base lives as Project Hyro. And so, yeah, all of those aspects keep me very optimistic. And that's something that we see in all the rankings, right? When you think about development activity, TVL, tokenization, like, I can only see those things moving in a positive direction.
All right, Nate, you got to jump in here because Ed gave you a bunch of flowers, kick things off. From your perspective, from HashPack's perspective, let's say, what are the signs that there is real momentum right now?
Yeah, well, HashPack, we're all about the community and what people are doing, how people are innovating. And I think that, like, having supported all of these projects for all of these years, we're really seeing those solid projects who have stuck around and continue to build really start to get eyes on them. And aside from the amazing things that Dead Pixels has done, which I'm sure he will talk about in this call, but we're seeing a ton of interest from cross-chain sources like XRPL and Doge, and they're noticing how easy it is on Hedera to do things and how fun it is. And I think the Forever Mints, which we're talking about today, was an awesome gateway for that. So cross-chain, lots of eyes on us. I think that's really exciting.
All right. So Ray, she mentioned you over there. Like, why did you guys decide to, build that Pixel Ghost Club on Hedera specifically? I mean, you could have picked from so many different platforms and you chose Hedera of all places.
Yeah, that's a great question. When you're in a position like ours and you're, embarking on a project that you have this long-term vision for, you have to make a lot of bets early on, especially, and it can really determine the trajectory of your project. And so the unique thing about building in crypto is that when you're choosing, you're almost like choosing like a crypto country that you're going to set up shop in. And that's like, it's unique in technology because usually it doesn't really matter what tech stack you have. Your target audience can be all over the world in all sorts of different industries. In crypto, it's a little bit different. The tech stack and the community kind of come hand in hand, at least the initial community. And so one of the things that we looked at with the network was just the incredible founder's vision, the fact that the technology is second to none, reaches theoretical limits on everything. The governance was world class. And, at the time that we were starting to build, it looked like more like an industrial park than anything else. The retail ecosystem was like a barter economy. It was like, hey, if I give you H bar, I promise, or, there was like kind of word of mouth and like trust and stuff like that. But we began to see the glimmerings of some incredible builders, and we really are indebted to the community for also assisting us along that way. And, I used to joke that we want to be the #1 project on the #1 chain. And I think that's the trajectory that we're really going to find ourselves on with the network. So yeah, that's just a little bit on that.
That's awesome. Now, talking about building on there itself, I mean, there, like you said, it was kind of barren when y'all kind of joined in, and there wasn't much to use or resources available. But that's changed quite a bit, and I've had I don't know how many streams now with you, Ed, to talk about a lot of those items. But let me hear from Maui over here as far as his experience goes. As far as community tools, resources, what do you think are some of the most useful ones that you've come across, Maui?
Oh, there's plenty of tools. Like one platform that I really like. There's plenty of platforms. That's good because back in the day we didn't have options and choices, but now we do, right? Depending on the creator, if they like the UI, UX, or that platform. One of my favorite ones, two of my favorite ones. One of them is Atlantis. I actually used it to mint and launch the Wild Tiger NFT collection on there, and the other one's Kabila. Right. So now we have options where people could mass mint, they could mint 1/1s, they can use Atlantis to reward their community for farming rewards. Just plenty of tools out there, simple to use too, very cheap, not expensive, and the transaction fees, right? Something that a lot of networks struggle with is launching a big collection and then having to pay so much fees in just gas. Where Hedera is so simple, straightforward. You can use HashPack to do snapshots and airdrops. It's just so easy now. Back then, it was pretty hard. A lot of it back then was we had to figure out how to mint. We had to do peer-to-peer sales on Twitter. I remember those days, auctions on Twitter posts, but now it's so easy. We got all these platforms, all these tools that are simple, easy, straightforward for anybody to come and learn and use.
What about from your side of things, Ed? What does that look like? Anything you want to highlight?
Absolutely, Action. And I love Maui's answer because as I reflect on it, we've seen better and more tools in all parts of the life cycle or of the stack, right? Because yes, we have seen better tools for creators, better tools for engaging in verticals like DeFi and so on, and also better tools for the developers, for the builders, right? Like I remember when I started learning working with the SDKs, it was still pretty easy, but I wish I had better tools. And those are the tools that we're working to build today. So when we think about the developer playground, the contract builder, anyone can come to the ecosystem, anyone with some development experience and even without, and you can start deploying transactions and getting familiar with the technology in seconds, right? There's no local setup, no downloads. It's all in the browser. And in a matter of seconds, you can create that mental model that helps you understand how to work with these services and the technology of Hedera to build these applications like what Maui's talking about, like what Ray has built and many other teams and creators, right? So I'm pretty excited about those tools. Obviously, documentation, we keep always improving that, getting good feedback on it. And then the one that I want to highlight is around the area of AI, because I think those AI is providing new tools that are just going to make everyone much more productive, right? If you think about it, before we had to go through this grinding process of learning how to set up your environment, create software and so on. And I think the direction that we're going with AI tools is you think about it, you say it or write it in natural language, and the AI models help you bring that to reality, right? So now you can do with one person in an AI tool what used to take many or teams of many members. And so some of the tools that I want to highlight there, are the HiveMind GPT, so that's accessible for everyone through ChatGPT. It has knowledge that is specific to Hedera, a great tool. And then the other one is for creators and developers, the AI Agent Kit SDK. So allows you to create autonomous agents that will perform actions for you on the Hedera network. And the cool thing about this SDK is that it's composable. So people like NFT projects or DeFi projects can create their plugin to enable builders to have agents that can perform actions in their platforms. So what I mean by that is I can create an agent that can go to Saucer Swap and do a swap for me. Or I can create an agent that can perform an NFT trade for me, if we imagine that those plugins are created for that SDK. And then, of course, the community itself. I mean, the community has always been a fantastic resource. When you go to Discord, you can see the type of questions, the type of support, the type of conversations that are always happening. So definitely that's worth highlighting.
I was told that I need to do this when you do a nice update. And shout out to Luis and Furman in the back. Those guys are always taking care of the stream. You guys never see them, but they're always incredible and always in the background making things happen. But May, let me go to you because Ed highlighted some AI things here, and I know that you have been working on features for for HashPack that has AI built into it, voting, so many other things. Can you kind of go over some of those things that you're empowering the community with?
Yeah, sure. On the AI stuff, we are building things that are letting you kind of query what's happening on the hash graph, like what are the hot tokens, or if you want to do a swap, you can type in natural language, can I swap this many HBAR for pack token or sauce or something? And then it will create a transaction in your wallet that you can then review and then approve. So it's human in the loop kind of thing. And we're basically playing around with different things that we can do with AI. I think that what Ed said is absolutely critical here, where the AI tooling for developers is actually really, really good on Hedera and getting better every day. It helps you write code so that you can just start doing things on the network, and it just spits out code for you, and that makes it really, really easy. And of course, Hedera is written in JavaScript or TypeScript, and you can just build out web apps so easily with Hedera, which is a huge advantage compared to other blockchains, other DLTs. So that already is a huge thing. And then also, when you want to query historical data on the network, the HGraph team is building AI agents that can help you do data queries so that you can plug that into your platform, and they can query things so that you can then display the top holders for your project or something like that really, really easily. So that's one thing. If we're talking about community empowerment, and all of the things that Maui and Ray were talking about, the dark history of Hedera, when people were doing trades off of well, I trust you, bro, I'm going to send you 500 HBAR and you send me the NFT, because that back then we didn't have trading, we didn't have marketplaces, we didn't have anything like that. One of the first things that we built in HashPack was secure trades, which allow you to, in an atomic transaction, send the HBAR for that NFT or any combination of tokens, and just both parties have to approve it, and then it goes through. And that's not smart contract based. That's actually based on native transactions on Hedera. So that's functionality that exists solely in Hedera that just works really, really well. You can still do that today. And that really accentuated the barter economy that Ray was talking about. And then shortly after, we released Hash Connect, which was our version of Wallet Connect, which then led to 3 marketplaces, NFT marketplaces, coming in in the first 4 months after that came out. So it just really popped off, and we had the summer of NFTs, Hot DeFi Summer, I think it was called, or yeah, something like that. And that was a really fun time where we had I think there were even ghosts plastered on New York Times, the Times Square in New York, right? That was a really fun time. That was back in 2022, I think. So those are OG days.
That's wild to think about. Just 3 years ago, those are OG days already. Look how far we've come. It's super awesome.
Right. Ed said it right. Hedera Heat Wave. Yeah. Okay. And they had an ice cream logo, which you can still find. Now we have a bunch of in-wallet NFT features in HashPack. So we've integrated a bunch of launch pads. So you can launch your NFT and then have people see that launch inside of HashPack. and then participate in that directly in the wallet. And you don't have to go to individual sites. You can also see offers that people make on your NFTs. You can also put your NFTs for listing on Centex and hopefully other platforms as we chat with them. So we're really empowering creators to and users to like participate in the NFT kind of community on Hedera and the economy on Hedera. And then you mentioned voting really quickly. We launched an on-chain voting site. It's called hashgraph.vote. And that allows anyone to create polls and have the community vote on those polls. And you can token gate your polls, so you can have your NFTs like holders participate in your polls or give them different weightings. And the idea was to provide a platform that allows projects and users to have two-way engagement and discussions and just like have ways to interact with your community. And there's a lot of creativity that we're seeing in this simple site that we put up, which is like there's a comic creator that is using votes to have their NFT holders, so the people who read his comics, vote on where the story goes. We're also seeing Hashgraph Online DAO using it for their governance. So everything is on chain and you can just see it. And I think an important part of this is that the hashgraph.vote site is based on an open source standard that I wrote that is in the Hashgraph Online repo. So anyone can create a voting site based on that standard, and they become cross-compatible. And then one of the things that Cantor, who is in charge of Hashgraph Online DAO, the founder of it, was saying is that AI agents can also use that to then vote on topics and then get consensus on topics and work together. So because it's an open standard, you can do a lot of things with it. And I'm really hoping that there are people who are interested in doing that with the AI tools that are coming out. And yeah, so tons of things that are happening, tooling that makes it easier to build on Hedera and interact with Hedera. I think that this is like, yeah, our golden age, really.
No, I think so too. And it's exciting to be here while things are actually getting built out. You get to see things come to fruition, as you're like growing with it, which is super exciting. I was just looking over because I have one of those ice cream stickers on my Pelican case. I'm like, I think it's definitely on that one. So I definitely miss those days. It's one of those things. It's kind of fun to reminisce sometimes and look at how far we've come. But the growth is still ongoing. Like, it's not like it's stopped. And Mark, if you don't mind me going to you real quick in regards to this, like, what does it look like for community-driven art projects, just like, the PFP, foster collaboration and engagement with each other and keep people not only engaged, but honestly just having fun while they're building?
Okay, so every project is driven by purpose, and vision is the same with JustPFP Art. This is the place where you build your community. So it's the same with JustPFP Art. We are trying to position ourselves like a community who are here to provide a calm place in the time of the hype. I love hype, but too much hype is equal stress. So I believe that in that time we all need a quiet place where we can use it as our strength to keep going. So in the bear market as well, it's a lot of negativity. It's very hard for builders to build. And I believe that we need a community of positive people who will spread the right positive voice and keep pushing Hedera ecosystem. So we are really trying to be like air conditioner or something like that, where it's cold, we will heat, will we turn up, when it's too hot, we'll try to cool down a bit. Something like that. And there is a lot of creative people, a lot of good people, lots of mindful people, spiritual people here in the community. It's really the soul of the community, the Hedera ecosystem. So we are trying to build a community and gather all those people at one place.
Bringing people together is definitely one of those things that I don't think we can do enough of, right? Like, I think it just changes the landscape of communities and allows people to really not only enjoy but thrive in the environments that they're really in. Ray, for you, why was this Forever Mint concept created? And I have a bunch of follow-ups on this Forever Mint because there's so much to it. Like, what does that actually solve for NFT collectors and creators?
Yeah, so we were lucky in some ways that our project actually came in the wake of the very first NFT. I guess you could call it maybe not a bubble, but it was kind of that first bull cycle. And because we came after that period, it gave us an opportunity to look at where things may have gone not so great for a lot of the larger projects in Web3. You know, there was a lot of excitement and prices went up, and then all of a sudden, when everything was minted out, I think projects found themselves with this conundrum: like, what do we do from here? Some projects were very successful in kind of saying, like, okay, we're gonna try to branch out and make this a brand, and that was really determined by whether or not their NFTs had mass appeal and things like that, and a bunch of other factors. But one of the things that I think we identified was, or I guess we're looking for answers, is, it's kind of a strange model for things to just kind of go crazy and then just completely die out. And we kind of went back to our personal experience with collectibles. So like many of you, you may have been collecting Pokemon cards, or I know like Labubus are all the rage today. And so we're trying to think of like what makes collecting fun and special and engaging. And one of the concepts that I think we rightly identified was this idea that you could continuously get something that was yours and you had a chance at beating the odds. And that wasn't really possible in the NFT space. So the cool thing about the physical, kind of collectibles was that you could always go and get something random and it could be yours, and there's excitement around that. But the problem is that those companies could just continuously make those things. So like the number of cards that they would put out, or there would just be or like the number of physical artifacts that you're collecting will just increase and increase and increase. NFTs kind of solved that piece of it by saying, no, we're going to also introduce scarcity into collectibles. But then they were missing that second piece of, can we just continue the excitement of the aspect of collecting? And so through a lot of iteration, we finally came up with this idea that maybe the party doesn't really have to ever end, that you can have both scarcity and perpetual ability to collect. And so that's kind of where it grew out of, and that's the problem that I think we're solving. And we may be the first project to have ever identified this piece of it and actually built something for it.
All right. How does it work? How does it function? And Ray or Mark, either one of you guys actually come, feel free to speak up here, because how is it different in traditional minting models?
Yeah, so the interesting thing about what we did is, again, like we looked at Hedera, kind of everything was sort of conceptually really good, but the community was growing. But we realized that we really did want a premier collection regardless of what chain it was on. So we decided we were going to make a 10,000 collection. Now, there weren't 10,000 people to collect them at the time even. So we had this very slow phased approach where we were releasing them slowly over time. And that also helped us sort of solidify this plan. And so what we basically said to ourselves is, listen, we're going to reserve 1/5 of the entire collection, 2,000 of them. And it kind of works because it's like the 8,000 that are circulating are like boo, B-O-O-O. And so it's a little bit arbitrary, but we decided we're going to, sort of withhold these 2,000, which are going to be a mixture of common and rare ghosts. And it's almost going to be like this flywheel mechanism whereby we're going to allow people to randomly mint out of that pool, but we're going to take the fees associated with that and go right back to the secondary market and replenish that pool. So the mint price will always be some percentage of floor, and there's some special things that we're trying to do in the background to really get an understanding of what the mint price should be. But that's sort of how it works, is there's this pool of rare and commons. People have a chance at snagging a really rare one, and then we take those funds and we invest it right back into the community and buy it from the secondary market. And I think the value proposition is also quite easy for people to see. Like if we're introducing new people to it, it's not, hey, come and go buy somebody else's ghost for the price that they've set. Is, hey, pay this and you might get something that's actually really cool and valuable. So
That's so it makes it dynamic almost, so that it's not just a static mint. It actually fluctuates based on the, how much people want it. Is that fair to say?
right, yeah, I think that's completely fair to say. Yeah.
Very cool. Now, Maui, let me go to you real quick. Which NFT projects are you, excited about right now? I guess is the best way to say. And like, does this Forever Mint fit into that landscape?
Oh, I'm excited about a few outside of Dead Pixels, JustPFP, and of course Wild Tigers. Not being a little biased, there's a couple of ones, right? There's a couple of projects that are utilizing the technology. Like we got Coco that's utilizing hash notes. They inscribe on a network, and they're also dynamic. I don't know if they're looking into the Forever Mint, but it's something that really excites me. We have another one that's Fugitives Club and the Returnals. They're also dynamic NFTs. I like to see new stuff and new projects utilizing the technology with the new hips that are coming out, so they could build their NFTs after they mint. They can go ahead and do different stuff with them dynamically. And I don't know if they would have. It all depends if the founder or the project wants to do the Forever Mint, but that's something new that I would like to see those dynamic NFTs using the Forever Mint. I don't know how it will play out, right? I'm not the founder of them, but it's something that excites me to see seeing the projects utilizing the new tech and implementing the Forever Mint is something that I really would like to see that happen.
Now,
There's
something
so
that
many
I
projects
got
out
on the chat that they want to see happen, Maui, is you running that onboarding space. Are you going to make that happen?
Yeah. I made a poll last week, right? Now that I'm feeling better, my health wise and stuff, we are gonna run it back. We're gonna get on a call later with the co-host to see when we can. It's gonna happen on Tuesdays, like we used to have them every Tuesday. Shout out to HashPack because they kind of helped us sponsor it with some HBAR to onboard people, projects, sending NFTs. So we can. What we do is we get on a space. We talk about the community, the retail community, about projects. And if new people that come in, they ask questions about Hedera, how to get the wallet. So we help them step by step how to set it up. Shout out to Lady H and J-Man because they've been helping me a lot with the onboarding. So what we do is we walk them through step by step. We show them how to download a HashPack wallet, tell them to save their keys, right? Be safe. We send them like 5-10 HBARs so they can associate the token. We show them how to associate the token. We show them how to receive an NFT, how to go on Centex or Saucer Swap, whatever they would like to do. And it actually brought a lot of eyes and attention. We ran those for 6 months straight every Tuesday. But we are going to, I see the comments. People are asking for those to come back. Yeah, we're going to run them back. We just got to set up a call. And if not tonight, then we're going to run it back next week. We'll start them on every Tuesday, 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. EST.
Beautiful.
Can I just
love to hear it. Yes, May, please go for it.
I just want to add real quick that this is the kind of really great thing about the Hedera community is we're very open to people and we welcome them and we help them out. And if you want to create, then we'll help you get set up with all the tools and get your project going. And if you want to figure out what's exciting on Hedera and get started, like we're like the community comes together and helps out with that and makes it super, super easy. And I'm told that HashPack is one of the easiest experiences and we try our very best to keep that smooth, seamless, and just really fun. And that's really the strength here. Is like all the big projects on Hedera just are really open to hearing feedback and talking to the community and discussing and making it so that when you come in, you can have fun, you can do what you want to do, you can find people to jive with. It's really fun here.
The fact that you just said jive just blew my mind right now. But Maui, if you need any help on that Tuesday space or whatever it is, reach out, man. I would love to support whatever you guys are up to. But May, let me go back to you because wallets kind of play a big role here. Big role. Like you can have a Forever Mint, but if it doesn't work well out on a wallet, what's the point? Like, what does that look like for you guys as far as these innovations? And do you think it actually supports adoption?
Yeah, it's a lot of things that happen behind the scene, and so we just try to make it as seamless as possible. But like things like Maui mentioned, hashnals. Hashnals are like Bitcoin ordinals, but on Hedera. So all of your data, like your NFT metadata, your art, is stored on chain. And that's something that Hashgraph Online, the DAO that I mentioned earlier, created standards on. So now you can actually mint your things on chain, and you don't have to worry about IPFS or where you're going to host it. And they kind of just have a tool that lets you do that. And that is supported in the backend by HashPack. And basically just making these NFTs work, like dynamic NFTs, making that work, that's actually non-trivial because of technical things. But all of these kind of features that come out that people are innovating on, that people are trying to make really cool, like we try our best to just make it work. You know, like people who are doing comics on Hedera, when you load them in HashPack, you can view the comic and you press the right arrow button and you can go through the comic and read the whole thing really easily. And I know that a particular creator called Hashnell's Grim, he's making a comic book reader for comic NFTs that's going to make it even better experience. But you know, we're as a community, we're really trying to just make it so that if somebody comes up with a really cool idea, then it just kind of works. And if it doesn't, you know who to reach out to, and we can make it happen, right?
I love that. The support system in the Hedera ecosystem is second to none. That's so awesome. Mark, let me ask you though, as far as like long-term benefits, as far as, you know, the forever mint, does it help? Is it just something that's going to be, oh, it's here now, then people are going to forget about it in a little bit? Or do you think we're going to see this thing last a long time and eventually have a good impact?
It will stay definitely because it's so powerful tool, so powerful thing. You can see the clear difference between regular mint and forever mint. If you want to create a great mint, you need to sell your idea. But if you want to create a great forever mint, you need to build step by step every single day. It means that every day you need to innovate, that you need to innovate something, you need new ideas, fresh ideas. Over time, you will build the trust of the community, and you know how community is important for the every project. So Forever Mint is something, for me, it's like a store. You have one-time offer, it's the mint, and Forever Mint, it's the store where you need constant liquidity. And in order to provide that constant liquidity, you need to push every single day together with your community. So for JustPFP, art it's an amazing thing. Why? Because we are minted about 10% of the collection. And the rest of the collection will be minted in the next 15 years. So our plan is to every 6 months mint around 300 new characters connected with the storytelling, with the comics and animation that we have built, and put that in the Forever Mint. And people will always have that feeling of excitement and driven by one project. Imagine dozens of those projects on Hedera ecosystem, how that's important is and strong. So it's here to stay, and I believe that it will be spread around other ecosystems, but we need to keep sure that everything starts here with that pixels on the Hedera ecosystem, and we need to use it like our main tool, because I noticed that a lot of people look at me. Hedera is a great tool, fast transactions, amazing technology, but a lot of people don't even know that we have NFTs here. So we miss that flex crypto culture in the Hedera ecosystems, and the Forever Mint is the tool for that. So we need to push that even more. It's built to stay for sure.
Love to hear it. Now, back to you, Ray, real quick here. I know that Maui's done a great job onboarding people, but how about NFTs? How are we actually reaching new audiences, outside of the Hedera community and onboarding them with these NFTs?
Yeah, I think what Mark was saying is a perfect segue into this topic. So I think right now we're sort of in phase 0, honestly, of this kind of push. I think it was potentially spurred on by the fact that, when we announced the Forever Mint, there was some initial excitement and people were using it. But until we had our first Forever Mint party, which we provided an incentive for, it was just sort of trucking along. And that one event generated an incredible amount of volume. I think we rivaled some top projects in all of Web3 through the span of a few days. And that caused us really to connect with some of our neighbors. So the XRPL folks have been amazing. Also the Doge folks there. And I think at first it's really just going to be a dialogue. So Will, who's my other co-founder, is doing an amazing job of connecting with those folks, being on spaces with them. I think they have like recurring ones now. And I think that's just kind of phase one, is just really interacting with them. XRPL is very similar to Hedera in that they're kind of an enterprise focused chain, but they're sort of building the infrastructure around their retail space. I think when we get to a proper phase one, it'll have to include, first of all, it's a huge team effort, not just across the NFT space, but everyone. And so I think having partners like Mark and Maui and the other Forever Mint project, it's going to be an invaluable part, I think, of what comes next. And I think in the next few weeks, we'll start to talk a little bit about that. But as some folks were saying too, like, and just shout out to May and her team, like every time we have tourists here in Hedera, they download a HashPack and they're like, this is awesome. And, you know, anything we can do for the tourists to be like, oh, I could live here, you know, I think is a huge plus. And HashPack, I think, is bar none one of the best wallets in Web3. And so a huge shout out to them. And I think that the way that the community embraces folks that come in, you know, they can see that the energy is infectious, that people are here to help. Like that's just going to be an invaluable part of it all as well. But obviously, we have things that we're sort of planning in the works that we'll kind of be able to unveil over the next few weeks. And yeah, it'll be a good time, hopefully, and hopefully everyone benefits from all the activity.
That's awesome to hear. Now, today I am doing something that I've never been able to do before. Say that we are coming to like the planned portion of our stream early. We usually we're running super late because we just talk a whole bunch, but you guys are phenomenal getting straight to the point. So we get to have even more fun. So I would love to go around the room and maybe get a little bit of about, you know, what's exciting to you? Like what's actually the thing you're looking forward to that you think is going to be shaping, you know, the community's role in Hedera's future here. And we'll just go around the room. Maui, let me kick it off with you.
Oh man, it's a lot of things have been exciting, right? The number one, it's the retail focus lately from the HBAR Foundation and Hedera themselves. That's been a big shift, and that's what seems to be getting the community really excited about. Every time I join spaces, they always bring that up. That's like their number one excitement. It's seeing them support the retail community. Not just like supporting retweeting, but I'm also seeing like other platforms get that backup, that support for funding so they can continue building their platforms and just help the ecosystem grow. That's what's been exciting the most part for me. And the community rallying with each other, right? Supporting each other, spreading awareness. A lot of the cross-chain spaces happening lately. Love to see it. This morning, HashPack had one with XRP, Joey Wally. Man, that room was packed. It was packed. A lot of people spoke about HashPack. They asked questions on how to get onboarded over here to Hedera. Those type of things is what really excite me for the future and the growth too. We've been having a lot of growth, new wallets getting created, new holders coming into these NFT projects. You can actually go on Centex and look at the collections, and you can see the holder count. They have a new graph now that shows their holders going up too. So that and they're from new accounts too, and that's what gets me excited.
Man, I'm excited that Maui just followed me on X. That was a highlight of the day right here. But Mark, over to you. Uh-oh. Marcus,
Actually,
oh, there you are.
Me?
No, I said Mark, but sorry, everything froze on my end, so I couldn't see who was unmuting. But Ed, you unmuted. You're always excited. Give it to us.
All right, let's go for it. We'll go to Mark next. But in terms of what excites me about the future of Hedera, I think it's the growth of the ecosystem and also of the community in both breadth, but also depth, right? I think the community also plays a critical role in spreading the awareness, in adopting those new platforms and new solutions that are coming online every day, every week, every month, and also being advocates and ambassadors for the ecosystem. And that line there is also a plug for the ambassadors and moderators program that we have brought back with the DevRel and community teams. So if you're interested in being a moderator in the social platforms for Hedera or an ambassador, please stay tuned. We did an initial rollout. We're at capacity right now, but we will be looking at expanding those programs to enable the involvement of the community and contributions as well. And also, I'm super excited about what entrepreneurs and innovators like the folks today in the call will come up with, because you guys are really the soul and the enablers in the ecosystem that drive those use cases, that drive adoption, and it propels that flywheel of adoption for not only Hedera but Web3 as a technology as well. And then, yeah, I mean, when we think about the use cases, small and enterprise scale, certainly looking forward to seeing the continued growth of that DeFi ecosystem, right? So more opportunities for retail, for institutions to do things when it comes to the DeFi space. And then one of the things that I'm really looking forward is seeing Hedera become that home for tokenization of financial assets, of real world assets by institutions, by sustainability organizations, and also of AI, right? I think obviously Web3 and AI are, I think, synergistic technologies. You can have very compelling use cases of Web3 for AI and AI for Web3. And I think Hedera is a natural home for that intersection because of all the technological attributes and now the ecosystem growth that we're seeing. So I think it's a natural home for all of those technologies to happen here. And then probably one that is like outside of the ecosystem, but will have an impact on Hedera's adoption and success and Web3 is also legislation and regulation. I think we lived in decades of uncertainty, and I think finally seeing some regulatory clarity in the horizon, I think that's also very positive, keeps me very excited, and I think it opens up the doors of possibilities of what we can see for builders, for enterprises, and for the community.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, that's literally what I'm living day in, day out at, is like, how can I get the world to know about what's going on inside of this fun little blockchain DLT world that we're living in day out, because they don't get it yet. I promise you, you might see legislation out there, but they don't get it yet. So I am literally giving everything I have day in, day out to make sure that people actually understand. So much so next week, I'm hosting an event at the UN for the African continent. Is going to be LATAM as well. It's going to be a transatlantic event, and it's all about getting people to understand that this technology is not only here to stay, it's here to solve problems. And I think that's the most exciting part of it, is seeing people actually come to the realization that this technology is not extractive. Quite the contrary, it's something that will actually change lives and empower businesses for years and years to come, to not only, let's call it, do the right thing, but essentially run the way that it should have been ran from the beginning, with transparency, with focus that people can trust and count on the platforms that they're operating on there. But Mark, I digress. Let me go over to you. What excites you about Hedera?
Cross-chain connections. I lately see a lot of cross-chain connections, a lot of new people in our community, in other communities, and I believe this is the way this is the right path for us, because Hedera is the future. Is just a matter of time when we lead everything here on the Web3 road. So, but we need to just keep going and do what we actually do right now.
I love that. And I think you're right. It's not a matter of changing the recipe. It's working. It's just a matter of getting that flywheel going and continuing in the path that we're already at. Ray, how about yourself?
Yeah, I think what excites me is the fact that we're seeing and continuing to see more and more that the network can go toe to toe with any other network and perform and shine in unique ways. The other thing I think I'm really excited to see is, as more projects adopt the Forever Mint, the Forever Mint almost becomes like a foundational piece of the collection, whereby you can do other types of things and incentives on top of it and still have an avenue for people to collect. So I'm really interested to see how other projects begin to utilize that sort of base functionality to be able to make their projects even more exciting. And it's really nice to see new projects enter the space too. We believe firmly that we want a lot of good, strong NFT projects on Hedera. A rising tide lifts all boats. And just also, I think we'd be remiss without recognizing the secondary marketplaces, primarily Centex and Kabila, for the amazing work that they do and continue to do. We've had, worked with them very closely on certain things, and they've been extremely responsive in building this functionality. And again, I think just as good as anywhere else that you'll find in Web3. So that's what I'd say.
Love to hear it. Now, May, before you answer me, I'm sure you're bullish on this wallet, HashPack, I think it's called. But I just gotta let you know, people love you in the Hedera ecosystem. There's so many comments about how friendly and supportive the whole HashPack community is, and how much you've helped everybody, as well as multiple comments saying that you're glowing, which I have to agree with. But go ahead, now that I've embarrassed you a bit. Go. What excites you about the ecosystem here?
Yeah, well, I mean, you guys make it easy. Builders that are doing things because they're passionate about it, because they want to provide value, they want to, make a great project. I think that's really good. I think Ray's a little bit humble with what he's accomplished with Dead Pixels. Dead Pixels was first for 24-hour volume across all ecosystems during the Forever Mint. You guys even topped CryptoPunks and Pudgy Penguins and Boarded Yacht Club. We can hit with just as heavy as the other heavy hitters. And I think people will start to see Hedera is a great place to build on, and a great place to be a creator, and a great place to be a community member, and just take part in what we have here. Just to echo what Ed said, a few of his points, because I think that's really where my eyes are at right now. So the Hedera Foundation is doing a great job with getting the smaller builders some small grants and getting them just their projects out there, and then be able to prove that they can hit what they say they're going to hit, and then go for follow-up grants and get support there too, because they've now proven that they have product market fit. I think that switch up from the foundation is great, and shout out to all of the great directors over there that are making the calls with the community members, and with bigger projects. Of course, they're still doing some big ones, which I talked to. And what Ed said about financial assets coming onto Hedera is very true. I'm in chats with a lot of people who are looking to put real world assets on chain, and how does that look when you bring it non-custodial into a wallet like HashPack? And where does that come into play? I mean, there's definitely a place for DeFi there, and with pseudonymous transactions and things like that. There's also a play for KYC type assets, where you're going to now partake in real world assets like stocks and currencies, and maybe you need to KYC for that, but it will still live on chain and benefit from all of the things that Hedera has from being a public ledger. So there's a lot of excitement there. Super excited for that. I think you guys should just keep an eye out on what's going on in Hedera, because that is super exciting. And you're going to see that not only augment what we're already doing in the DeFi space, but work together with it and just multiply in value. I think that's going to be really, really fun. And just on the AI side, shout out to Patches, Ty Smith at Hashgraph, who is doing a lot of work on making Hedera the place for AI and blockchain to intersect. I think that's real fun. And also Jay and Ash, who are also just really into the community. And I think they're at Hashgraph and also the foundation, and they're doing a regular live stream called Hashgraph Hustlers, where they develop with AI on stream, just live. And with an AI, they're doing vibe coding, and they're getting things launched on Hedera and working. So if you're interested in fooling around with that, they're right there, and you can ask them questions, or you can see what they've done. So lots of momentum here, lots of real fun stuff that's happening, lots of real world utility use cases and things that are just around the corner, and I really want to see them come up. It's really, really cool. Yeah, so much to talk about. I could go on forever, but Yeah,
No,
it's
I
real
love what
fun.
those guys are doing as far as that their stream. Jay is awesome, especially when he fails because no one ever shows that, right? So you can actually see things not work and get sorted out live. I agree with you completely, May. It's really exciting to actually see people not only talking about things but doing it and showing people on how they can do it themselves. That makes such a huge difference. And talk about RWAs, you're so dead on. You know, I'll give you a perfect example. Those mints that you talked about, it didn't cost an arm and a leg and gas fees to mint those things either. So it wasn't like you're paying the same price for the transaction as you were for the actual asset. Like people forget, how impactful that is. I mean, looking back to the crazy NFT, I don't even know what to call it anymore, but I was spending hundreds, I have spent more than $1,000 just in transaction fees just to be able to mint something, which it sounds crazy for anybody that's operating in Hedera right now. That's just non-existent. And talk about, RWAs, wrap tokens. I mean, there's so much opportunity when it comes to Hedera to be able to trade those things and actually leverage that the right way without having to, again, spend an arm and a leg to be able to transact, which is such a big deal. Now, I do want to let everybody know next, I believe it's Thursday, we do have something really, really exciting happening. These guys here are always looking to see what we can do to further, the community in a make it available so that people can understand what's happening here. There is a general community call with Centex happening next Thursday, and want to make sure everybody knows about that. But the best way for y'all to get notified is obviously follow any of the socials that you guys might be watching this on. If it's on X, make sure you set notifications because there's so much volume of things coming through. So set those notifications for stream so that you know next time it goes live. And I do want to end with something a little on the fun side. What's your call to action for the people watching today? We have thousands of people online listening to us that want to know more, want to know what's going on and how to get involved. And what would be your what would you tell them to do? What's one thing that they can actually get done this week to get involved within the Hedera ecosystem? And Maui, we'll kick it off to you first.
Call to action, so many things. I would say follow everybody up here in the speaker panel. They're always on spaces. They're always willing to help. Even if you don't know about Hedera or what wallet, just join a space. Anybody, spaces for me is the best, right? It's easier to get to know people, and it's easier to bring them on board than sending like instructions on how to get onboarded, right? Just follow everybody, turn notifications on. We will be bringing back the Hedera onboarding spaces, happen every Tuesday, Lady H and J Man. So if you want to give me a follow so we can get you onboarded. And just follow Ray. Shout out to Dead Pixels because they offer the Forever Mint to all these other projects. I do want to give a huge shout out to Luis and Hedera because I seen a question if I was a Hedera moderator. Yes, I'm fortunate enough to land the Hedera community moderator role, and I'm very excited for that to start kicking off because I'm so ready to connect people, network with people, and just help Hedera grow.
Love it. Ed, over to you.
Well, I'm going to give you two call to actions. Just thinking about the developers and thinking about also the retail folks. If you're coming for the first time or you're a retail person, just download a wallet. Give any of the wallets a try. I think HashPack is an outstanding wallet, so give it a shot and get immersed in the ecosystem. Check out some of the applications that you have available to you, whether it's for jumping into the NFT side of things and collectibles, or maybe you want to check out DeFi. I think even from the wallet itself, you can start accessing some of the possibilities you have accessible or available to you in the ecosystem. So just get started. I think that's the best possible thing that you could do today to get familiar with the ecosystem. And if you're from the developer side, just go to or Google Hedera Playground. If you Google Hedera Playground, that'll give you a quick feel for that portal to start getting onboarded. It has links to documentation, but more importantly, you can start coding and deploying, a sample application in a matter of seconds. So give that a shot if you're a dev. That way you can get a feel for what the technology is like, what is working with it, or how that feels. And if you have any questions, just reach out because we're always available to help devs and community folks as well.
Love to hear it. Mark, how about yourself? All right.
Okay.
I think you're muted, Mark. You want to try to click that? There you go.
No, I'm okay. We are talking about forever mint, so this is my message for tonight. Life is all about fun, and if you miss it, go and hit that forever mint button, and that's it.
Straight to the point, Ray.
Yeah, I would say call to action is definitely grab a HashPack, visit our secondary marketplaces, find an NFT project that speaks to you, and jump right in, jump into the community, get involved. Also, just wanted to give a really big shout out to the Charles Era Foundation, and the fact that they've been so retail focused. That's, I think, allowed us to accelerate to this point. So, thanks.
Awesome. May, last but absolutely not least.
Yeah, I think give everybody a follow on Twitter and just see where the community is and just get engaged. There's a lot of great Discord servers out there that you can just hop in and say, hey, I'm new to Hedera. Where can I get started? Or what's fun here? Or, how's it hanging? I'm from this ecosystem, or I don't know anything about crypto. Like, give me a jump start. And I think you'll just be blown away by how welcoming everybody is. And if you grab a HashPack, just have a scroll down in the NFT tab on the Launchpad and see what's there. And if something looks cool, like find out where their socials are and just get involved and, be a part of the community. And I think that that's a great way to just get started and find out all the great things about Hedera.
I absolutely agree. You stole my line, though. That was my last thing. I was going to ask everybody to make sure you're following everybody here on stage, on socials. We've definitely displayed everybody's handles on screen over the course of this stream here. So make sure you're following everybody here that's on stage to keep updated with what's going on in the Hedera ecosystem. There's so much, guys. Like, I can't begin to describe the number of projects and things that are being built. I mean, think of something, it's definitely on there, from real estate to wine and whiskey. I mean, there's something for everybody, which is super exciting to talk about in this space, is because you don't know what you're going to get next week or the following week, because there's so many growth and expansions happening that I, again, highly encourage you guys to follow all these speakers up here, as well as the Hedera account. I really appreciate all you guys' time. Definitely one of the more exciting times. I love having a packed stage that we can talk about some of the things that are happening in this ecosystem. And again, this is just the beginning. Everybody stay on the lookout for things to come. There is so much more coming, and you all don't want to miss it. Thank you all so much, and make sure that you don't miss next time we go live as well. So the notifications go a long way. Thank you all, everybody, and we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody.
The need for a more interconnected world is fueling new decentralized technologies and new ways of doing business. Hedera stands at the forefront of distributed ledgers, where every interaction is not only trusted, but fast, efficient, and secure. While traditional blockchains struggle with speed and fees, Hedera's network settles transactions in under 3 seconds for a fraction of a penny. And the proof is in the numbers. Hedera is uniquely governed by a council of the world's leading institutions, ensuring transparency, trust, and decentralization. It's no wonder Hedera is the leading choice for enterprise and DeFi use cases. Everything from real-world asset tokenization to AI data integrity. Discover the only decentralized network with the governance, scalability, and security to power the new digital economy. What future will you build?